Hey, so I'm Clay with CPAP My Way and CPAPMyWay.com. Today we're here to bring to you the top CPAP cleaners for 2021, or at least our opinion of what the top three are. Last year we did 5. This year we're narrowing it down to 3 because, in our opinion, there's 3 categories for CPAP cleaners. And so we're just giving you our top choice for each. That doesn't mean that the others that we feature aren't good or aren't good options for you. Everybody's different, and we understand that. If you want to check out all of our cleaners, there's a link in the description below that'll give you a listing to our generic cleaners category, and you'll be able to review everything. The ones we're going over with today will be linked as well, so you can look at the details of them. Another thing I want to make clear is that this isn't really like an orientation or a detailed review of any of these. We have individual videos on our channel for all of these that we're going to discuss today. So feel free to check those out if you want some details. There's definitely a lot of good material there for you that'll give you a good idea. So like I said, 3 categories. In our mind, there is the integrated ozone CPAP cleaner, and that means a cleaner like the SoClean or a couple of the others that actually integrate with the CPAP. There's nothing to disconnect or connect. They're tied to the CPAP machine. The next category would be an isolated CPAP cleaner. That'd be one like the SleepAid or the VirtuClean or the litany of others that are online that work separately from the CPAP. So you disconnect things from the CPAP, put it into the isolated cleaner, and it cleans everything. And the third would be the UV category, and so obviously that one stands alone, like the Lumen, the Liviliti, and quite a few others that are out there today. So we're going to give you our top 3, which you can see right here. And one of them, the Liviliti, is pretty new to the market. You know, it's only been out for a few months now, and so it's a cool product that kind of jumped to the top of our list after running it through a little bit. The last thing we're going to discuss in this cleaners video is going to be the FDA concerns that we hear about quite a bit. So number 1, yes, I have read the FDA letter. Number 2, I have watched the FDA YouTube video. So I'm aware of what the FDA says about ozone and UV CPAP cleaners. And so what I'm going to bring to you today is a direct response, not from me, but from all 3 of these manufacturers that we've got featured here today as to their safety and as well to their effectiveness. So that was the main 2 things the FDA talked about was, you know, are they even effective, or you know, and are they safe to use under CPAP? So we'll address all that at the end of the video, at least the responses from the manufacturers that hopefully give you a little peace of mind and certainly some clarity. So take a look at what we've got here, and of course, if you have any comments with questions, shoot them below. We will be more than happy to address those if we can, of course. As always, if you like the content, hit the little thumbs up like button. And if you want more content, hit subscribe. We'll keep it coming to you. Again, links of all the details to all the products are below in the description area. So enjoy the video, and we'd love to hear from you. So comment below. All right, so up first, we've got the SleepAid CPAP cleaner. So this is our top pick for isolated ozone cleaners. The isolated ozone cleaner to us is any ozone cleaner that cleans separately from the CPAP. So it does not tie directly to the CPAP at all, which is, you know, a good thing if you're concerned about ozone intrusion to the CPAP. The SleepAid itself is a really nifty little deal. It's 5.25 inches long, 3.25 inches wide, and only about 2.2 inches thick. Makes it really, really small. It weighs just over a half a pound, 0.58 pounds to be specific. There's no adapters needed for the SleepAid, which is kind of a nifty deal. Everything just goes right into the bag. You attach your SleepAid and turn it on. It cranks through and sterilizes everything, turns itself off automatically. The replacement procedure on this one is a new bag with a charcoal filter about every 3 to 6 months, just depending on how often you're using it. If you're using it daily, you're going to need to do it every 3 months. This has a 2-year warranty, so that's a good and kind of a standard warranty across most of these cleaners that we have. Quite frankly, we haven't had to use it very often, which is kind of nice. It has a built-in lithium-ion battery, which makes travel really, really nice with it. It does shut itself off after 1 hour of running. That puts it through the sterile mode and then also through the ventilation mode to make sure that all the ozone is blown off before you go to use your products. The other thing to consider is that the bag itself, where everything goes, dimensions are 15 by 12.5 by 6 inches thick at its thickest. So it holds quite a bit. So we've got some people that are husband and wife maybe that use just this to clean all of their equipment at one time, which is a nifty little deal. Overall, the reason why we made it our choice is because it's extremely reliable. We have gone through quite a few different external isolated ozone cleaners that just genuinely don't have any longevity. We're doing 100 return authorizations, and by that time it's really been such a pain for us and a pain for the customer that nobody's really happy. This one works exceptionally well long term, so no warranty related issues really at all. The other nice thing about this one in particular is it's great for travel. It has that built-in lithium-ion battery, so especially for our truck drivers, it's a really good deal. They can take it on the road with them and maintain the item. It also has it's a USB charger, so it can plug into the truck and charge right there with your regular USB connections, which is nice. The other cool thing is that it has a safety feature that it must be connected to the bag. If you try to turn the device on without it connected, which would obviously blow ozone into the air you're breathing out here, it will not run, which is a cool deal. The last big positive on this one is it doesn't get any ozone into the CPAP. So some of these require you to connect like the CPAP hose in there, and then it bleeds back into the CPAP, and that's not the way this one works. And then the last thing is that there's no adapters needed. So for this device, you don't have to buy any additional clips or ports or anything to run through heated tubing or any other supplies at all. Really, there was only one con that we came up with that was big for this, and that is that there is the manual process of taking your equipment loose and putting it into the bag. So unlike some of the integrated models, you do have to actually take the tubing loose, which requires you obviously to grab your CPAP here. You just pull the tube loose. To do it effectively, you do have to actually find the connector on the inside in here. So I'll pull it out so you can see it. There's a little connector there where you plug your tubing on to make sure that the ozone goes through the mask and tubing thoroughly. Leave that all connected, you put it in, and then of course you got to get your humidifier chamber out, slip that in there, and then you're able to turn it on, and it will run through the cycle itself and turn itself off. So once you've got it all in there, obviously it's ready to rock and roll. And then when you get home, I always picture this happening, you get up in the morning, throw it in there, and leave for the day. And then you come home, and when you're getting ready to go to bed, obviously you've got to take it back out, hook it back up. And that is a manual process, and so to me it is a con, but honestly, we just did it right there. What did that take? 30 seconds. So it's not a huge issue, but it is something to consider. If you want something where you just drop it in and turn it on, this isn't it. But it is super reliable, works great, and really to me, having to take this stuff separate from it is really not all that big of a deal. So I think it's a great unit, and that's why we're recommending it for 2021. So the SoClean is the next one we want to discuss. This is our top pick for integrated CPAP cleaners. And again, integrated CPAP cleaners is defined as when they're actually connected in line to the CPAP. They are the most set it and forget it style model. And frankly, the SoClean has really remained our top pick because of its durability and performance. It just does a great job, and we don't have any issues with it. It is a little more pricey typically than some of the other models, but sometimes you get what you pay for, as they say. So as far as the SoClean itself goes, the machine itself is 7.5 inches by 6.5 by 8.5, and it weighs in at a little over 5.5 pounds. So it does take up some room, as we like to call it, nightstand real estate, because it integrates with the CPAP. It needs to stay beside it. So plan on the area that you're going to have taken up. There are adapters needed. We're going to show you one in detail here in a second, but in most cases there are adapters needed. Those cases are when you're using a heated tube, you always need an adapter, or if you have other specific models that might require an adapter because of diameter or the way it connects. Just take that into consideration on this. You do need a new filter kit every 6 months. There's there's one right here, a little charcoal filter that slips down inside the SoClean there. That's good for about 6 months. The unit will remind you to change that out, which is nice. I think they're 25, 30 bucks, something like that, depending on where you're getting them. We do have them, and there's a link below if you want to get them. It has a 2-year warranty, which, as I said, is kind of a standard. I think that's pretty typical for most of the CPAP cleaners we're featuring here. There is no battery option on this, so it does have to at all times be plugged into AC electricity, into a wall outlet. So you're not traveling with it, that's for sure. It does take about 2 hours to completely clean and ventilate, which is good. You want it to go through that whole process. Inside of the SoClean is 7.5 by 4.5 by 5. You're going to find that it pretty much fits everything you need to fit. You don't have to put your humidifier in there because, again, it's integrated to the CPAP and will run through the humidifier on its own. Overall, what sets this one apart is that it's really simple. Once you get it connected, which I'll show you in a second, it's very user-friendly. You just connect it. You can even set a timer so that it turns itself on. The other thing is that it's really reliable. So as I've said with other CPAP cleaner videos, we've had some that have had their issues with returns and durability. This is not one of them. The SoClean is very durable, and we do very few return issues for defects or performance. The other thing that makes it stand out is that it's a big brand, so they're very proactive on getting efficacy data. Does it work well, basically? Independent labs here in the U.S. that have looked at it for safety issues as well as how well it works. And they've got a lot of literature out there on that, to back up their claims on safety and on how well it works. So when you're thinking about something, buying some sketchy thing online that's cheaper, it may not have the safety and effectiveness of the SoClean. The downsides to the SoClean are kind of obvious. It's size to me. It's got to be on the nightstand near your CPAP. And so you're going to lose a little nightstand real estate. And we all know that the nightstand real estate is a pretty premium deal. So giving that up is something you'll want to consider. It's a little noisy from some of our feedback. I don't know how many people are going to sit here and listen to the SoClean run while it's cleaning your equipment. But it has been feedback from some people that if it's going to be in an area where you want it to be quiet, this is probably not the one for you. And the other downside that we have, it's just from us, it's that the ozone does get into the CPAP. So for instance, this is the Dream Station. I'm going to take the tube loose here and just hook up the adapter so you can see how it works. I got to filter it in there. There we go. So this will allow you to use standard or heated tube because of the adapters there, but just for the sake of showing you, we got a regular tube here. The nice thing about it is simple, right? So once you've got this hooked up, you've got your little black tube that will connect on to your adapter here. And all you'll have to do at that point going forward is just drop your mask in, close the lid, and turn it on. And it's going to run ozone through the tube into your humidifier as well as into your mask and throughout the rest of the tube. So it circulates it through. It does a really good job. However, as we talked about with that downside, it does get ozone into the CPAP. And we have had some issues with people reporting noise-related issues. Specifically, ResMed has told us that they have some concern with this that may cause warranty-related issues. The counter to that is that SoClean is saying that they'll back you up on the warranty. So if ResMed denies a warranty claim because of ozone intrusion or corrosion, they've got your back on it, and they will take care of the repair of the CPAP. So, all that being said, I'm not sure that we've ever had a legitimate warranty-related issue denied because of ozone intrusion or reported ozone intrusion. So I can't really attest to that being an issue. I will say that ozone is naturally going to be kind of corrosive and will wear things out. So in my mind, I'm going to say that this is going to probably just shorten the lifespan of your CPAP. It's not going to ruin it right off the bat. We have a lot of people using SoCleans, and we do very few returns on the nicer CPAP models like this Philips or ResMed. So I don't see it as a huge issue, but it's certainly out there enough that ResMed has addressed it, and they're the name in sleep, so it's something to consider for sure. The next one we're going to talk about is going to be our UV option, Liviliti. So stay tuned and check it out. All right, so the final one we're going to discuss with you here is the Liviliti Paptizer. And this is a UV option for cleaning your CPAP equipment. This particular device is 11, almost 12 inches, 11.89 inches across, 10.6 inches deep, and a little over 6 inches tall. It weighs in at 4.3 pounds, so it's not super light. The one nice thing is there are no adapters needed for sure with this particular device, which makes it very friendly to use. There's also no replacement parts. The bulbs in here are, I don't know if they're called bulbs, but the little UV lights in here are good for 10,000 hours. So you're going to get some usage out of those. And by that time, you're probably going to just need a new unit. It is a 2-year warranty on this device as well. So that's kind of a standard across all of the ones we've talked about. There is no battery. It does have to be connected to AC electricity. Inside the device itself is the largest UV capacity, so it's 9.45 inches, so 9.5 inches by about 6.6 or 7.68, so about 7.5 inches by 4.72 deep. So it holds quite a bit, and it definitely is something you'll want to consider because this has some options as far as what you'll be putting in there. This particular device has a couple of runtime options. So there's one as quick as just a 3-minute option that will just do a quick UV sterilization on anything you put in there. But it's also got a dry mode and storage mode, which it has the built-in humidity sensor that will tell it if your equipment's dried out enough or not. And so sometimes that'll take a little bit longer. It'll run until it's done, basically. The reasons why we featured this one this year is because one of the coolest things to me is that it has 40 individual little UVC LED bulbs is what I'm going to call them. But if you take a close look there's 40 of them all the way around. So the only area that doesn't have UVC coming out of it, or LED bulbs, is the bottom mirrored area. So we found that it does a really good job of permeating whatever you're putting in there from all angles. And it's definitely very standalone on that particular fact for sure. The other cool thing is it's got those 3 run options. So it's got a quick 180-second, 3-minute UV light sterilization where you can just throw something in there real quick, sterilize it, take it back out. It also has the second where you get sterilize, deodorize, and store. And so it'll circulate heated air as well as sterilize with the UV, and then it'll be sitting there ready for you to use in a storage, kind of a sterile storage method. Then you've also got the sterilize and dry mode. So it'll run through a full sterilization, but it'll additionally circulate heated air until it removes all humidity. So we all know that things grow best, nasty things grow best in humid, rich environments, especially, being here in Florida. So removing as much humidity from those products is a key feature and one that you would want to consider specifically if you're throwing your CPAP tubing in there, because it's going to have to circulate some air to do anything on the CPAP tubing. The other thing is that you can use it on any other household items. So for instance, you could throw your cell phone in there, PPE like masks, gloves, things like that. Everything can go in there that can fit basically. And the final thing that really set it apart on the UV deal is that it's been lab tested for its effectiveness as well as the safety features. So if you try to open the unit, it immediately shuts down all the UV light because some of the concerns are that if you get the light in your eyes or on your skin, it can be damaging, which is probably true. But with the safety features on here, it's literally impossible. And then as far as the effectiveness, they have tried it on many different bacterias and whatever else is out there, and it does an exceptional job at cleaning it, or killing it, I should say. So efficacy is a big deal and safety is a big deal, and they've got the documentation to back it up on this one. The downsize, it's definitely not a nightstand item. The SoClean is not a whole lot smaller, but it's much more narrow, so it takes up less nightstand room for sure, but this is going to take up some room. I guess, in my mind, it's kind of a household item more than it is a nightstand item just for your CPAP. So you'd probably want to, bathroom counter or somewhere out of the way where you can put it. So it's also not going to travel well, you know what I mean? So it's not something you're going to pack up and take along with you. The other downside is there's no real way to get the good clean on the inside of the tube, right? So there's no connector for the circulation or anything that really pushes the air through the tube. But it does circulate the air in and out of there and measures the humidity. So it's going to do a good job of making sure that there's no excess moisture inside the tube. But it's not nearly as effective as some of the other models that actually have something specific for the CPAP tubing. So that's really the only big downside, I would say. But overall, we love the Liviliti. It's done a great job. We've had no issues at all with it so far, which has been a good thing because we hate doing return authorizations on these things. But stay tuned. We'll give you some information on what we have heard and what we have seen and what the manufacturers have said, what these three manufacturers have said in regards to the FDA issues that are out there. Okay, so we have heard a lot through the comments about FDA concerns, specifically our last year's video. We had quite a few people sending links to the FDA's concern letter about CPAP cleaners, ozone, and UV, as well as the YouTube video they released. So I've read that and I have watched the video and definitely understand where people's concern is coming from. So what we did is we reached out to the manufacturers featured in this particular video and just asked them, hey, what's your response? And we've got them here. We want to go over them with you. We'll even pop them up on the screen so you can maybe even read along if you like. But my takeaway is that the FDA is concerned enough that they're advising you to be concerned. That doesn't mean that something's really, really wrong or that it's something bad for you. In fact, these manufacturers say the exact opposite of that. So my takeaway is stay away from the cheap knockoff junk on Amazon and wherever else you're finding it. So if it's a $25 CPAP cleaner, there's probably not a lot of study on the effectiveness of it and on the safety of it. So, you're definitely going to get what you pay for on some of these things. And then, take it for what it's worth. These are obviously people, the manufacturers are selling this product. We're a representative, so please don't take it out on the messenger here. But, this is their words and their responses to it, but I find them pretty interesting. So we'll start off with SleepAid here. So I'll pop it up for you, but SleepAid's official response is that, number one, people say FDA has not authorized CPAP cleaners for the market. Well, SleepAid has been proactively working with the FDA and has submitted for formal review of the device. SleepAid already has a meeting date with the agency to pursue FDA clearance. Concentration levels of ozone necessary to kill bacteria, right? So is it effective? The SleepAid device has been shown to kill more than 99% of analyzed bacteria in strict U.S. laboratory tests and has done so while still respecting consumer safety. And so that's basically, the parts per million or whatever that's in the CPAP equipment afterwards is under the concerning threshold. Plus, it actually killed 99% of everything that was in the study. The other concern is that ozone leaks could occur, right? So on our own accord, according to SleepAid, and without any mandates, SleepAid actively engaged Underwriting Laboratories, LLC, a global safety certification company, to conduct an ozone risk characterization of SleepAid. The testing Underwriters Lab performed aligned with CFR Title 21, Section 801.415, maximal acceptable level of ozone. Ozone levels were below every standard they could find with a large margin of safety. As a result of the test, the Underwriters Laboratories concluded that exposure to ozone as released from SleepAid are unlikely to result in toxicological effects within the residential environment. So in layman's terms, they're basically saying that there's not enough ozone left behind if you're using it the right way to have any sort of issue according to the standards that are already out there. SoClean, we have a little bit of a briefer response here. Regarding the recent FDA statement about CPAP cleaners, SoClean welcomes the FDA's efforts to ensure high standards of product safety and quality in our industry. SoClean is the market leader in sleep equipment maintenance products, as noted in FDA's alert. The agency reached out to the industry last year. SoClean has been working cooperatively with the FDA and is fully committed to operating in full compliance with the FDA's requirements. Through these efforts, which include providing FDA with extensive testing data and having a meeting with agency representatives, the company will ensure its number one position in this category now and set the standard for performance in the industry. And then, of course, they say to direct any questions directly to SoClean. And then for the Liviliti baptizer, it was nice enough that Brian over there, who's one of the foundational guys, sent me a personal email about it. So according to them, they have done studies independently, obviously, as well. One huge point they have is that most people forget is that you can use your mask immediately after cleaning with UV instead of ozone. They're talking about the differences between the ozone and the UV. But regarding effectiveness, we do know that less bacteria leads to a healthier night's sleep. Included in here are 4, I'm going to just butcher this, I'm sure, but Ehrlichia coli, Staphylococcus, P. aeruginosa, and Candida albicans. I guess those are kinds of bacteria. And in these research studies, they've been conducted to be effective at 99.9% in just a 3-minute cycle on those particular germs. There are no known UVC resistant germs. And as far as safety on this, it can't run if the device is open. So there is no concern about the UV touching your skin or blinding you or anything of that nature. So I think overall what these guys are saying is that they take safety very seriously. And if safety were something that were causing adverse effects, they'd be in trouble. So they're going to address it effectively. All of them have independent lab studies that show that their ozone levels or UV levels aren't harmful if used in the appropriate way here, as well as lab studies to show that they are incredibly effective at killing everything. So, from their lips to your ears, I'll be the messenger here. But we haven't had any, reported issues from any of our customers. And the manufacturers themselves are putting out a lot of information here to maintain their position on their effectiveness and on the safety. So we'll put some links down below to some of this stuff so you can reach out directly to them if you'd like. And feel free to comment with questions or things you think I glossed over on this. So we'd be happy to address anything we can by reaching out to the manufacturers from our end. So hopefully you found that helpful, and if you have further questions, just let us know. So that is our CPAP cleaners, our top CPAP cleaners of 2021 video. I hope you found the information useful. If you'd like to learn more about any of these products, as always, we've got information down in the description so you can find your way to the details of the product. As always, comment with any questions or concerns, like and subscribe if you found the information helpful. And we genuinely appreciate you watching, so thank you very much for tuning in, and we hope that you do well out there on your CPAP cleaner.